All right, we're live. All right, gotta move the coffee cup. Let's see. Let me back it up. Is that good?
Yeah, just
There
go.
we go. There you go. All right, so child safe kit.
Okay, Matt, Nicole, the next no-cost benefit that's been negotiated for you by your union is one of the most critical because it deals with children's safety. It's the Child Safe ID Kit. Now, this works hand in hand with an Amber Alert. One of the most important concerns a parent has is what would happen if my child was abducted. We've all been shopping with our kids and they're with us 1 minute, you look away and they're gone. You panic for a second, then they come running back up to you and everything's fine again. But you think to yourself, if they were taken from me unexpectedly, would I have what I need to get into the law enforcement hands so they could get on this just as quickly as possible and find my child? That's why we've come up with this kit. I think they did a great job on this. It is a place for personal information. Now here you list the child's name. There are places to write in pen, because that's the permanent attributes, the child's eye color, and in pencil, the height and weight, things that are likely to change. There's the address, blood type, and your information as well. In addition, there are profiles here for you to illustrate where there are any permanent marks, scars, birthmarks, anything like that. There is a strip inked on both sides for you to use to put the child's fingerprint in. Now you don't roll it, you just place it there and you work from left to right so it doesn't smudge. There's also a place to put a photograph of your child. I suggest keeping this updated because God forbid something happens, you don't want a 2-year-old picture of your child, you want something that's recent as could be. So I suggest every time you change the clock back, put a new photograph on there. It keeps it current and up to date and makes it all the more valuable. There's also a spot here to attach a hair follicle, for DNA purposes. And on the back is absolutely critical. I know that I always knew where my kids were going to be if there was going to be a sleepover. Mm-hmm. But one of the things you do is make certain not to put the name on the backpack or anywhere where someone could say, hey, Amanda, your mom sent me. So what you do is establish a code word. So if it's not going to be you or Matt that pick them up, and it's not going to be Grandma, Grandpa, you just say something like celery, and then she knows you sent your girlfriend to pick her up, and she knows that you sent her. And another word is a little bit more subtle. You know how kids don't like to be embarrassed in front of their peers. Well, if your child's on a sleepover, and she were to give you a call and say, Mom, Mary has a soccer ball just like mine, you're in the car and on your way over there because you know she's feeling uncomfortable about something. It's just a way of keeping things dialed in. Now, when we sat with the International Union of Police Associations, we promised to get this in the hands of as many families as we could. But realistically, are we going to get this out to everyone in the community?
Absolutely not. No.
Probably not. We just don't have the resources. And frankly, I have a lot of union families in Central New York, and there's not enough agents like myself here. What they allow you to do is to sponsor up to 6 families, people with children. These are people you feel the absolute closest to. So Matt, give me your first one who you feel close to, you want to get their children covered like Samantha is today. Who's the first one?
Let's do my brother, Noah.
Okay. Got that. His address?
He lives right in Waterloo.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And your next?
Let's do my sister, Dana.
Okay, Dana. And her number?
315-651-2486.
Is there anyone else?
No, I think that's it.
Can't think of anyone else whose kids you want to protect just like Samantha is right now?
No, not off the top of my head. No.
Matt, can I ask a favor of you?
Sure.
I'm going to ask you to get on the phone and either call or drop a text to these people.
Okay.
Just let them know that you sponsored them, and I'm going to be giving them a call and dropping off a child safety kit to them so they can take care of their children just like you have done for Amanda today.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because if you call my brother talking about his kids, he doesn't know.
He'll think about telemarketer.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So you do that for me?
Yeah, I can do that for you.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Perfect.
Our power. Matt, you and Samantha qualify for the Premier Family Plan. This is $30.88 a week. Why 3088? It's something we call the hour power principle. It is just a way of taking the very first hour of your work week and paying yourself first. You could take the other 39 hours plus whatever overtime you get and spend that any way you see fit. But you can go to sleep at night knowing that the gaps have all been filled in and everything is covered. I look at it this way. If your boss comes to you and says, Matt, we're going to a 41-day work week, are you going to go out and buy a Silverado with that extra hour you're working?
No, not with one extra hour.
All right. And it works the other way as well. If he goes to you, we're going to be working 39 hours a week. Are you selling everything to try and make things meet?
No.
Okay. That's why we made it 3822, to make it affordable for you too. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Okay. Have either of you guys, the next one's called the freedom of choice. Have either of you guys been on the financial end of planning a funeral?
I can't say that I have. I mean, I've seen people go through it, but me, myself, I haven't. No.
Okay. Well, a funeral today costs close to $14,000.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that life insurance pay for funerals has changed. Used to be, Nicole, you'd take Matt's policy down to the funeral director.
Mm-hmm.
He'd hold on to it for collateral while he waited for the insurance to send a check. They used to send a check within 24 days.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have up to 60 days, and I've seen it go a lot longer than that, personally. Yeah. So what can happen is that your family is burdened with a lot of out-of-pocket expenses.
Yeah.
In addition, there's a company out of Texas called SCI and another one out of Canada called Alderwood. And what they're doing is buying up a lot of the independents, and they're trying to become like the Walmart of the funeral industry. I only mention this because their corporate policy is to demand half of the overall expenses up front.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Now, I don't know how many union families have $7,000 sitting around earmarked for funeral expenses.
I don't.
But even if you do, there's other expenses that are becoming due, and those bills have to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
So what we've come up with is called the freedom of choice. If something happens to Matt tomorrow, 50 years from now, it doesn't matter how, when, where, or why, cancer, illness, or anything in between, you simply take this document to the funeral home, and anyone in the U.S. will accept it. They'll even embrace it because it's backed by a big union, and they know they're going to get paid.
Yeah.
That make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing, so you'll go to the funeral parlor, and you would simply arrive at an amount. You fill in the arrangements there. You wanted a traditional casket, graveside service, that kind of thing, and sign as the beneficiary.
I do that, or my beneficiary?
Your beneficiary does that. So, what you're covered for everything up to $37,000.
Wow.
Now, Nicole, you got to make sure to keep his funeral at $37,000 as well.
Mm-hmm.
That number is important because as soon as you leave the funeral home, that director is going to be on the phone and call and say, "Are they enrolled? I'm hoping that when I leave today, you're enrolled." Second question is, how much money do we have to work with? If I said 37,000, how close to that number do you think you'd be?
Probably 36,999.
Yeah, you're right. So what we do is ask you not to mention that number, and we're not going to mention that number.
Mm-hmm.
We're simply going to write a check to the insurance company for what has been negotiated, not a penny more, not a penny less. The rest of it, what's ever left, goes to a check for Nicole and the kids.
Sweet. Wow.
It's like a blank check for $37,000. It's like a prearranged funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of prearranged funerals?
Yeah, I'm familiar with them. Yeah.
Well, they're becoming a lot popular today.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it can cost up to $100 a month, and you're limited to the funeral home with whom you made the arrangement, and as much money as you've had time to put away. If something happens to you in a year, how big a bite out of $14,000 is $1,200 going to take away?
No, not a big bite at all.
Right. So
that's like a blank check.
So it's a blank check. So what do you think of that benefit?
No, that's perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what I'd do without that.
All right. The next benefit is hospital supplements.
Okay.
This is why most of our families enroll. I'm going to stop killing you off and just get you hurt now.
Well, I appreciate that.
I'm a champ. If Samantha's running around in the backyard
Yeah, okay.
and she falls and sprains her ankle, where are you headed?
Well, urgent care, or depending how bad it is, possibly emergency room.
Right, ER, the emergency room, urgent care. And what this does is pay you up to $200 per accident or injury. Now, it can't be, Mom, I don't feel good, I got a tummy ache, I got the chills, but it could cover like stitches, tetanus shot, sliver, get some sand in your eye and has to be irrigated, up to $200, and there's no limit to how many times you can take advantage of that in the course of a year.
They don't put a cap on
They don't.
it? Wow.
If your family's prone to misfortune like mine is and you have to go 4 times, that's $800 in your pocket.
Holy smokes.
Now, this is more critical. Matt, if you're going to work and some fool blows through a stop sign and plows into you, puts you in the hospital, you're in there for 10 days. Well, the bills are piling up.
Yeah.
You're not working.
I'm making money.
And Nicole is either or by your bedside or taking care of the kids, so she's not making what she wants to make. So this is $400 a day for up to 365 days. Do you think that $4,000 tax-free would be useful to your family at a time like that?
So you get $400 every day.
Every day for up to 365 days.
Holy smokes.
Now, something weird happens and you're discharged from the hospital, you're back at work, and there's a reoccurrence. You just go back to the hospital and it resets the clock. $400 a day for up to 365 days.
That's unlimited too?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
One other feature is if it's serious and you have to go to intensive care, the benefit goes up to $800 a day, and that's for 14 days. It doesn't go away after that. It just reverts back to the 400, and that's for the 365 days.
Holy smokes.
Right. So basically, you get your funerals taken care of, your income protected, a child rider on Samantha, all these benefits we've just mentioned for about a pizza and wings a week.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. Now there's other companies that provide these benefits. You've heard of Aetna?
Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
And Aflac.
Oh, Aflac, yeah, with the duck, yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
Well, that's an expensive benefit. That's between $60 and $80 a month.
That's just this bottom portion, right?
Just the bottom portion.
Holy crap. And that's built into the program.
Built into the program. And in addition, this is strike and layoff proof. You go out on strike, we're making those premium payments for you for up to a year. And you don't have to pay that back.
Never?
Never.
Wow.
And if you get laid off, we'll make the payments for up to 3 weeks.
I get laid off every year, so you can do that every year?
Yeah, for up to 3 months a year.
What if I use these benefits? Do I still get them, or does it go towards the premium?
Of course. No.
Holy smokes.
You never have to pay that back.
I'm going to go with option A.
Okay, can you get your checkbook, your license, and your doctor's information?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That was all right. I don't know how to save this. I would be at a different cadence.